Good evening. I am going to call the Personnel Committee hybrid meeting to order on Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023 at 6:03. Thank you. At 6:03 p.m. It is a hybrid, so I have to read in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to view the meeting remotely. To view remotely from a computer, please use the link below to join the public meeting webinar, or from a telephone, dial toll free at 888-475-4499 and enter meeting ID 766-316-7607. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. Note, no participant ID is needed, just press pound when asked. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Do we have any public comment from the committee? Seeing none, do we have any public comment from the public? Seeing none. Approval of minutes of July 19th, 2023.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? All in favor? Sue?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
And I myself. Ongoing business, new hire, videographer. Videographer.
Okay.
Doesn't it say grapher?
It's videographer. Yeah, videographer.
I am speech. Video.
Yes, it is like that, videographer.
Thank you for having me. This is Joe McLaughlin speaking, and I'm here in regard to Rob Berberian, who recently interviewed with us. Rob has a wealth of experience. He owns his own business, has for about 6 years. He's an expert at video editing, an expert at video work. He was previously an electrical engineer. He's just well beyond the entry level that the videographer job description describes. I'm asking to bring him in at grade 3, which is the typical grade, but we'd like to ask to have him start at step 5 at $18.04. We currently have a couple of videographers who make 17, one makes 18, so he would be right in that range with the other two.
Is he going to be higher than someone who's been here?
Yes.
And is that justified in some fashion? That a person's less skilled?
Less experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The lower person is less experienced than the
Yes.
new person coming in.
Yes.
And do you expect that could cause any disruption in your group?
No.
And are you comfortable with that range? You think that's a good fit?
I think so. Yeah.
Is this a full-time, part-time? How many?
2 to 10 hours a week, non-benefited, part-time.
I make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the HR director to bring the person in at grade 3, step 5.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, Sue?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
And myself and I.
Thank you.
You're all set. Have a great night.
Thank
Good
you.
seeing you.
You too.
Bye. Okay, next on the agenda is job description reviews. We're back to that. And we're on the administrative assistant for IT. Now I'm gonna be rusty. It's been 2 meetings since I've been here. So bear with me. It'll take like 1 or 2 and then we'll be back in the groove. Thank you.
Okay,
You have one, yeah, everybody's got one?
Mhm.
I'll take this.
Wendy's got
Okay,
one.
you beat me to it, perfect.
We
Thank you.
don't have such a label in the spreadsheet that we're working off of. Would it have been called something else?
I would add it in. It is a
Okay.
separate, so in the schedule, the classification schedule for the staff, it's actually spelled out.
So would this be the same, I know IT, but administrative assistant to like your office?
It's under the IT
Right,
department.
same, but same structure as Elaine, or is Elaine higher, more of an executive assistant?
Elena's a higher is the
Thank
executive assistant.
I didn't know if we could use that.
All right. We'll start off at the college training and education. To be found on the second page. And specifies associate's degree. The manual is degree 3, equivalent to high school, and additional training equal to 1 or 2 years. So that's degree 3. Donna, that is 60 points. Next one is. I'm not going to fast. Degree.
I did. You good?
I'm good, yep, I'm good.
Level of experience. This is vague. It says extensive experience, so I think this is an area that should be defined when we update it. What's extensive? Is it 10 years? Is it 3 years? So
35?
that's what,
3
yeah,
to
it seems to be
5.
right.
That makes sense, yeah. Three, I think.
So that is a degree 3. And degree 3 is 30 points. Supervision.
Okay. None, so you said none,
This one is supervision received.
oh, okay.
So it seems like it might be 3. Well, does this person have to be more involved in what IT does? So they'd have to know IT more than maybe the standard admin? IT
Little
can be pretty
different.
technical.
So this position is responsible for the website, all the updates to the website, helping sign with content management, our social media sites, both making those postings, and the accounts receivable. So from an IT perspective, like
It's a very high 3 or 4.
I'm thinking that'd be fine.
I don't think it's that. General result would make sense. Because they still would have to take direction for some things, non-common things.
So,
Yeah, 3.
I would say 4 then.
I
But-
was in 4.
Direct daily supervision, is there any? I would think that if they're responsible for the website, they're just doing their thing.
Mhm.
Unless they have a question.
general questions.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I
why
had
I
it as
was
a 4.
leaning.
I think it's a
Like,
4.
Okay, then I'll say 4.
I'm comfortable with the 4.
Unreceived, that's 20 points.
It doesn't look like they have any supervisory responsibilities. Is that true?
Correct. So it's a 1, that's 20.
Wonderful.
Two maybe.
So there, if there were errors, you could
It would-
generally pick them up right away.
Right, and they wouldn't impact
Right.
the huge population. You comfortable with that?
Yeah.
20.
I was thinking of 3, but I'll go with the 2. Because we want the info right.
Right.
When it's posted. So we want to make sure that it's detailed, it's right, it's spelling, it's accurate, factual.
But even
Because-
if they do make mistakes in that, it's easily repaired and it doesn't impact like monetarily or adverse impact to the population. That's the only reason I would say it's a little lower.
And some of the content, that she gets from, for this person, gets from department heads or posting and, making it look really nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Fancy. Okay, so that's a 2, is that what?
That was-
Yeah.
Okay. Judgment.
I would say because they're touching the website and the rest, it might be a 3.
Yeah, I was thinking 3.
Well, and is there a protocol that, I, just as Susie Worker sends, oh, put this on Facebook, like it comes from department heads. There has to be sign offs that everybody's not just telling her what to throw on social media.
Right, the typical people where information would come from. Occasionally it may come from like a commission or committee,
Mhm.
so there wouldn't be that department head per se.
Does this person post social media or is it just the website?
Yes.
Oh, they do?
Yep,
Okay.
the Instagram, the town Instagram, and the
Okay.
town Facebook page.
So I want her to have good judgment.
Mhm.
Just saying, when she's the
Correct.
spokesperson,
Right.
out there for the community, we want her to have
So what
good,
do you
or
think?
he, sorry,
What do you think? Degree, which degree?
3,
Mm-hmm.
at least a 3.
60.
Complexity of position, I think, once you know the position and you know how to do the website, you know how to do the social media, it's a routine
Yeah.
based, it's just getting them to speed. At the beginning, retaining all the steps to update them. So I'd say that probably a 2.
I was gonna put it at 3.
Okay,
But it's probably somewhere between. What do you think?
I was thinking 2.
I can live with 2.
Okay.
You okay with 2?
Unless, the only question that I have is unless it's, requires something higher than high school education. Because it says,
And we already said that.
It
It
is.
did.
it
Higher
did,
than high
so
school.
then I would lean more toward a 3. Because degree 2 says equivalent to a high school education. And no more, so,
So it has more responsibility that means good judgment about it. So
Right.
it kind of plays back to that. That makes sense. I think that's a
you
good,
okay with that?
that's a good
Yep.
call.
absolutely.
So 3 in complexity is 60.
Personal contact interaction.
Has frequent contact with other town departments in person by telephone and or in writing.
Does this person, are they responsible for monitoring social media as well?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And just to be clear, right now it's just the 2 town ones, like the police do their own page, the fire does theirs. So,
So it's just the local town stuff.
yes, yep, and sharing. You know,
That will
other
remain
town
even when we
pages.
switch platforms. Police will still maintain.
The social media sites, the website shall be maintained.
Okay.
That's the town. Yeah.
What are you switching to?
Civic Plus.
Yeah.
That's what we.
I would think because it's a 2, because she really can't make judgments about what to put on. It's just that they put it on and somebody gives them that. So you clean it up and make sure it has grammatically correct. But I don't see it being taking a lot of interpretation and change.
But they
Just
have to monitor any
site.
responses to social media, which in my opinion.
But my
bumps
sense
it.
is the
Right.
monitoring means that you would then take it to someone and say, this came in and it's unusual.
Well-
If that's the case.
Yeah, fair, but so what happens if, let's say that there's some bashing going on social media, what is their role? They have to bring it to you or someone else?
I
to-
also, I see it
So
as
you see it.
administrator as well, so.
So then someone decides what to do to respond to it or remove it.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, so I'm good with
And
that.
not the
too.
administrator. She's the administrator, not the
Yeah.
manager of,
Yeah.
if you will. That was a two.
Two,
So number 8, personal contact interactions are 2.
20.
Agree to 20 points.
yes.
Number 9, confidential information.
This one's always a sticky one for us because we can't tell how much a person has to be involved in files of people's information or.
Yeah, there's really no confidential
Okay.
information that this position would be.
That'd be a one.
20.
Sometimes we just can't see if they know,
Mhm.
have access to
Right.
things or don't have access to
Right.
things.
10, occupational hazard risk.
Or 1 office setting.
I would say one.
Unless you really start to be argumentative.
So we're in the 20s now.
Is this
This
20?
is, this is where we get, yeah. These last 4 are usually where we're repeating. The work environment, that's typical office setting, so that's a 1,
Okay,
20,
physical demands. A 1.
same. Except, it was brought up that on the job description, we should update the physical requirements may be occasionally required to lift and carry objects up to 15 pounds. It says 25 right now, which in here makes a difference, but really on the daily, we're not, this position's not lifting, so that's something that will need to be updated. So that's a 20.
270.
370. So that is a new number 6. Which I think this is in line with it if we add in, while we're compiling those 4 grades into 1.
Assistant town manager, HR director.
So
Now,
I'm not
who's
gonna be
that?
silent on.
Who's that?
Use that. There you go.
Thank you.
Nobody else here, right?
Oh, cool. Thank you. Oh, except telling me the score. Okay.
I'm
You can
sorry?
Be silent, but you have to tell me the score.
Oh, I'll do that.
All right, so number 1, knowledge, training, and education.
Is this chief administrative assistant? Is that what this job is?
No,
No, it's Julie's position.
Julie's position.
So if I look for the word assistant, I should be able to find this, right?
Mhm. Search,
Oh, you got it.
search HR.
It would seem that it is a 4 at least. That's what you agree.
Yes. Okay. 80.
Eighty.
Level of experience.
It would be degree 4, it's 5 years
Yeah.
and up, which is
Bachelor's degree.
close to
No, 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Her level
Oh,
of
I'm sorry, 5 to
experience.
7
Level of
years of
experience.
experience.
40.
That's the job description.
Yeah.
We're looking at the.
Oh, I apologize.
Here we go.
Sorry.
Supervision. A lot of supervision needed here for sure.
Five. That's what I am.
Mm,
25.
The supervision given. There's no supervisory responsibility, is that true?
Is there anybody in the?
Janice Marjorie. I put agree free because of other types of responsibilities, like having like onboarding.
That'd be under different categories.
Right.
It would be just pure
Oh, we're
supervision.
here is supervision
Supervision.
exercise.
we
Yeah.
are,
3, supervision.
no, we're at supervision exercise.
Yes, we are. I'm sorry.
So what did you do? Had a 3?
That's what I put down, yes. Yeah.
I'm fine with the 3.
Mm, yeah.
That would be different, because she doesn't have total responsibility for those people. It's a training exercise.
Right.
So,
She also doesn't have any, she doesn't supervise anyone. No one reports to her.
this
Which is why
particular
I'm-
category is just for those that she or he supervises.
Mm.
I think we pick up the training issues under different categories than supervision exercised.
Which we can add the
I
hiring,
don't know. It's a good question to ask.
personal contact
We haven't
interaction.
used this particular category for any other reason other than
Yeah.
direct supervision.
And degree 1 doesn't really fit.
When I was going through this, I found some of the descriptions, not everything
Yeah,
fit. So
Yes, it
yeah,
doesn't
we
always
it
also
was like
find that
whether
too.
the majority of it fit.
I guess my recommendation is a 1, but I'm open to reviewing it if we don't seem to pick up enough for the skills of the training side of it elsewhere.
Well, so the only reason I would lean to a 2 is because it says participates in hiring performance reviews of
Mhm.
specified employees.
Right, because
The
degree,
hiring piece is definitely there.
But that's her work job. That's not her supervision job.
Oh, fair. Yeah, fair.
Her work job is to do hiring.
So let's put it as a 1 and,
Assess it when we
Yeah,
finish,
yeah.
whether we've picked up enough elsewhere
right.
to make sure that we capture that, the training part.
20.
Accommodate. I'm looking at either 3 or 4, and my thinking is that because of the hiring piece and the guidance piece that's done in this particular work, that not doing those things very effectively can impact lots of people.
Mhm.
and that's why I was almost at 5. Errors in work can impact the entire department.
I put a 5.
Because I'm just looking at like the finance department right now. So to not have that posted interview line set up, there's a whole department that we don't have. Not that she hasn't posted, she has, we just haven't had candidates. Please don't think I'm not saying
No.
that. But that's where it can really impact that whole department as it is right now. We see it as the example in the finance committee, where if we don't have qualified people coming in, starting, getting trained in the positions, it's shutting down that group. So that's why I was with the 5.
The position doing procurement, there's a lot of things that could lead to, legal repercussions,
Okay.
financial loss, as well as doing financial analyses for different projects.
Yeah.
So,
So I was at 5.
I'm okay to do that.
Alright.
I would have said a 4, but I can grade to it.
Judgment.
I'm leaning toward the 4.
I was at a 4.
Yeah, I was too.
Complexity of position.
Hang on a
Oh,
second.
sorry,
Was it 8?
80.
I apologize.
No,
Oh, it's-
you get the hang of it now. You're just like,
See,
no.
now I'm in. Now I'm in. It takes me 1 or 2, and now I'm in.
All right, let's cruise now.
All right, complexity of position. Again, I'd say as assistant town administrator and HR director 4 or 5
Mm.
is where her position, I think, would fall.
Which one?
Assuming that the town manager role becomes where the projects come out, you might
Yeah.
hand off projects that are uniquely different than her other work
Right.
to
And
handle
there are
those.
special projects that come up.
This,
Like this?
no,
Yeah.
this is a special project that,
Not others. Yeah.
Yeah.
What part were you looking at as far as?
Well, I'm trying to decide whether it's a 4 or 5.
Hmm.
I had a 5. I just
I-
want to
I'm
look
a
at the
5.
wording difference.
I'm at a 5 too, so.
The difference between 4 and 5 is the last sentence, I think.
I think so.
Varied managerial duties include planning, organizing, evaluating, hiring, controlling, and coordinating department/division functions and personnel.
I actually think that that falls more on the Heather side. of
I
it.
do too, because it's,
Hers is more on, she would bring it to the plate and then make a recommendation perhaps to Heather, but I think it's a 4.
I do too, yeah.
Well, I think as HR, she is the person organizing, hiring, controlling.
Mhm.
As HR, that's her biggest role
Well,
function.
in this case, I'm reading controlling differently.
Yeah.
I'm reading controlling as more supervisory in this case, but maybe I'm just reading it different than you are.
It still would seem to me that the primary directive is that work. So the complexity of it, and it for me is the town manager role, not the HR role, because that's just part of what she should be. So I don't see it as a 5.
No, I agree with
It's
that.
maybe a very high 4, but what's the difference in the points for 4 for this particular category? Is it 10 or 20?
20.
Well, if it's 2, 4, me a 5, it's a 4.
What do you think?
I think it's a 4.
I think it's a
This
4.
last sentence, it to me, because Julie doesn't have supervisory, doesn't have anyone working for her, this indicates it's controlling and coordinating department and division functions, personnel, and that's not her role.
project wise, maybe.
Yeah, but this
know,
doesn't
So
really
Heather,
say
did you
that.
have it as a 5?
I had it as a 5.
Mm.
Yeah.
I would recommend that we put it as a 4 and assess at the end if we're so close to the,
Yeah,
Next
and
grade.
like I said, I go with the group. I say my piece and then I go with the overall numbers,
80.
80. What number was that? I'm sorry.
7.
Seven. I didn't know if I had already turned my key. Personnel contact interaction.
This one I might go with a 5.
But I'm at a 6
I was at 7.
because as HR,
Well,
Like,
because
yeah, no,
it's
it's mediation. It's all of
Mhm.
these things that it's
sensitive nature,
yeah.
frequently occurring.
Mhm. You know, she's constantly with staff, talking to staff, helping staff create policies as a whole division as well as each department, because they might need separate interfunctional policies. So there I can go to a 6 or 7.
I can go to a 6. I don't think I can. Go to
Okay.
Okay, 6
split
it is.
6 it is.
What were you, Heather?
Actually was lower, but
Huh.
I see where you're, but I was higher in other areas, so.
It all watches out.
What were the weight?
What's a
of them
6?
go?
60.
60. Confidential information.
That's what- yeah.
I think this is substantial. She sees it all,
I bet. Yeah.
even things she doesn't want to see.
You okay with 5?
Absolutely.
100.
Go, darling.
Occupational hazard.
And now we're just in the 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
$595.
What's the break?
645.
Also with quite a ways
Hmm.
away. It wouldn't have made a difference if it went up.
It's true. Yeah.
So that is a new 9.
Even if I add 4 to it, it doesn't anywhere come close to the. That's an outlier in my opinion.
Approximate, that it's too low.
Well, because the current is 16. The proposed from Mary Beth was 16, and we're at a 9. And even if you add 4 to it, you get to
Yeah,
13.
13.
So it's really far
Mhm.
away.
So we determined that when we
Yeah,
we
we'll
saw
go
it
back.
all, that
We
we
would
would
go
see the
back to these
outliers and see the ones that
funky
didn't
ones.
look
Yeah.
right. And why is it that we did it that way?
So if there's 80, get through the 60
Mhm.
and then just deal with the 20.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be 5, not 20.
This one will be.
Okay. So now board clerk secretary. Yep.
Oh, keep one here for Wendy.
Is this one of those part-time
Yes.
only for the meetings?
Right.
Yeah, and on our spreadsheet, it's just called board clerk. You want me to? Oh,
It is
that's
slash
HR director.
recording secretary.
Do you want me to put? slash?
Sure.
I'm putting the completed ones just here.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question before, only because I was talking to another director of a committee and he was telling me how complex it is for his person who takes notes to take them. Because they have to know more broadly many
Technology.
things. Is that
Kind
kind of
So it
true?
depends on the committee that you're taking.
But the board
minutes
must be
for.
one of the more complex ones.
Which. So
Is this for any board?
any
Oh,
board.
yeah,
Oh,
any
any board. This
Any
isn't
board.
the board of selectmen.
No.
Oh, any
got it.
board or committee.
Oh, got it.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Lee, the executive assistant, she does the minutes for the select.
So the only thing I would tell you is it's one of my neighbors, he was telling me this story, he was having a hard time, and he said that knowing the jargon of the committee was the most important thing,
Mhm,
because if
mhm.
they didn't know the jargon of the committee, it was harder to take quicker notes. So like, I can take notes here quicker because I know the jargon, I can
Yeah.
shorten it.
Yeah.
But, so does have some complexity to
Mhm.
it that I wouldn't have thought before. So just,
And I will say too that it has complexity like the first year, but then they're usually very routine.
yes,
That every April we're starting budget, then so it becomes a repetitive
correct.
flow.
Sue, I'm not sure if you're making notes of this. I also reduced the lifting of pounds from 25 to 15 on
Oh, I
my
didn't
job
make a note of
description.
that.
Okay,
So that's on
I
yours?
got that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you're keeping track of that or not.
So now back, so this is the person that, from like,
Fourth
I know the finance committee,
Yeah.
right, had this person. So
It's
it's
a couple people.
right, a couple
yeah.
different boards and
Yeah.
committees.
Education's high school.
Good
And
thing.
that is 2.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, sheet, hold on. It's 40. Well, our experience is 1 year desired,
Yeah,
so that would be a 1.
I would say a
Suppose
2. Only
minimum 1
because
year?
no experience, they couldn't take a person with no experience. They'd have to have at least 1, which is
Would
what
you
2 is,
minimum of
minimum
one.
1 and up to 3.
Yeah, I
The
put-
first one
put
says
one, but
no
I
experience. up to
yeah.
1.
1 to 3.
yeah, 'cause it's-
I'm gonna update that on here then.
I think they have to have some skill.
So right now it says 1 year of experience a minute taken is desired.
Well, that's still true. Minimum of 1 year is degree 2.
Right, that doesn't say minimum, it says desired. So I'm gonna change it to
Oh, yeah.
1 to 3 years
I think that's a good idea.
of minute taking. Experience.
And do they have to go to the meetings or can they watch it on
They can do
TV?
it remotely.
Okay,
All right, so 2, sorry. That is 20.
supervision received required.
I put it 2.
I would say 2.
Yeah, it was a 2. That was a 1 or a 2, so I can go.
Do you agree that's a 10?
Done.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
Supervision.
There's 9.
exercise.
1.
Wait.
Yeah.
How many?
That was a 10.
Okay, thank you.
Supervision given, there is
1.
None.
1, so that's 20.
Accountability.
There was good result. Loss, confusion, delay, failure to comply with regulations, poor public relations.
They're usually detected because they're reviewed by
Mhm.
the board
Mhm.
things before this.
Yeah, I would say 1 or 2.
Are they responsible for setting agendas or doing any of that kind of work, or just taking notes?
These board and committee clerks are just take the notes.
Just take notes.
The minutes didn't have to-
1.
10.
One.
20.
Do we provide equipment for them?
As far as laptop,
Laptop?
Mhm.
Okay. So complexity, I would say 1 or 2, because they don't have to have the equipment.
It could be a 2, only because they do have to interpret and keep up with the meetings, which is a little outside of normal. I don't know, what do you think, Donna?
Well, degree 2 says, technical or vocational skills equivalent to a high school education, so
Yeah,
I think 2.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 2.
because if something goes wrong with the Zoom, they're the ones that are say.
It's true. Was it 20?
40.
Oh, 40. Sorry.
Is a 2.
think because they just sit on that one board for that meeting, they wouldn't have very many other personal contacts. So one,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
10.
Confidential information, I'd say one, there is, it's all on public TV.
20. And the rest are gonna be 20s.
if they go into executive session, would they be the person to keep notes during executive sessions if they have such things?
That there's a some potential, but there's no, for these,
No, because if they're from
Committees?
home,
there's
No.
really no reason to go in executive
Okay.
session, like.
I've
we
never
have
seen them do
for
it.
Finance, capital planning, stormwater, economic development, none of those would
None of those.
really,
Okay,
and from home, they would probably,
yeah, and the.
Shut
chair
her
would
off
take the
anyway,
minutes.
yeah.
250. 250.
That's in our new grade 1. The one that's between grade 1 and 4.
And this is also way
huh,
out of whack. This one's also way out of whack.
too low.
Oh,
No.
yeah,
Not necessarily, because if you say the first grade is our 4 grades altogether,
yeah.
so add in 3 more.
I think if we were doing like the select board, it would be very different.
The proposed grade is 7.
And it's a 6 now, so if we say, this is 4 positions, 4 grades into 1 now. So I'm going 4, 5, 6, 7 is
Well, how'd you get the 5, 6, 7?
You said,
because we're combining 3 grades
Yeah.
into here, so to make up for our, we do this every
I
meeting.
know.
I
yeah,
know.
know.
So where we now have 13 grades.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're thinking, if we add in those extra 3 that we've just mashed into 1 grade, if we say, okay, you're a new 1, add 3, you're really equivalent to an old 4.
Still, that's
So
still
this
way out of
is,
whack.
so say she's at a 4,
Mhm.
we're gonna add in those 3 grades that have been mashed in.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
she's really right around a
Yeah,
5, 6, 7. So I don't think it's,
Okay. Next one, Council on Aging Director.
I say she, I shouldn't say she. They. Sounds like aging. So here. I didn't hear anything.
Is Sue in there?
I don't think
see
I've heard.
Lindsay.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. All right. So. Education says bachelor's.
We didn't get the job description.
Oh, sorry.
That's
You
okay.
can't have job descriptions.
No, it's okay, Bob.
You have to fly blind.
Right here. It's you. Okay.
I'm not keeping them, you know, I put them all
I
in
know.
the
Yeah, I'm
separate
throwing
bin.
it up there. And I did pile for Wendy in case she just wanted to read them.
So bachelor's is a, what do you say, 4? That is 80. Like the first two, the house spelled
Yeah.
out.
You go right through. Level of experience.
And I'd say 3 to, probably 3 to 5. It says 3 full-time,
did?
4 part-time.
Hang on a
What was
second.
one?
It was,
Bachelor's.
You did it so quickly. I just wanted to make
it
sure.
was 80 points.
What, it was a
4?
number
4.
4. Thank you.
2 level of experience, you stated 3, minimum of 3 years up to 5.
Mhm.
Which would be,
30.
if we all agree on 3. So supervision, the C. She doesn't have any direct super.
I'm her
Her boss.
direct supervisor, but on a general day.
So like a 5, not directly daily supervision.
Yeah, that's what I had at 5.
That
Yeah,
is a
that's-
25.
And then supervision exercise, she does have people.
Several.
Mhm.
How many does she have? Is this broken down by number of people? she
No.
has? Okay,
No.
thank you.
Over 15 probably with volunteers. Right.
Hello.
Here, you
You're
sit
on
here.
this side. So
So we
they
can try
can
to
see us
squeeze
on
you
Zoom.
in.
How are you? Good. We are on Council on Aging,
Awesome.
and we're on supervision of exercise number 4.
How does this look?
How was yoga?
You can see me.
That's you?
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Donna's in.
You know why? Because I'm in the town's chair. There you go. There, now we're all in the even keel.
Wendy in, you guys are close.
Thank you, I feel so much more appropriate. All right, so what did we say for number 4? Train society by the large number of people participating in science review. I'd say 4.
Supervision given. Yes from everybody.
No one below her that supervises others. She does them all, correct? Everyone reports to her.
Everyone reports to her overall. Yes.
Oh, would it be 5, because she does
Yeah.
performance reviews for all employees in her group,
Well, and she's responsible for the activities
Yep.
and quality of work for all of
those
them.
people. I'd say
Yeah.
a 5, I'm happy with the 5.
100.
Accountability,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Is that supervision exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 was 100. Yes, sorry.
Seems like 5 fits here as well. No, it says departments, not departments.
That's where I found it confusing in some of
Mm.
these,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
huh?
like the wording in some of
Yes,
these accounts. Because of below its entire division.
Right.
well, and, so I'm
Usually
like
it's
reading
divisions
6.
within
No, because she doesn't impact the entire municipality.
Are you talking to me
Yeah.
on my 6?
Yeah, she's saying that the word division would be
She
considered
has a
the
department that
the
she's responsible for.
municipality versus a department.
Okay, because I'm looking at damage to public relations and or image, legal
But it
repercussions.
says entire
But that's in
divisions.
all, a lot of them, the legal repercussions, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it's in all of them.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, it's in all of
Yeah.
them. I'm between a 4 and a 5. Because the departments is different for me, but I do think that Council on Aging has a unique situation because they have a kitchen, which is kind of one group
Mhm.
and food.
Yeah.
And then they have the van services too. So they're
Oh,
inside.
I look at
there's a
the
bunch
Eagle
of
House
stuff,
as a
yeah.
division,
There's a lot of different.
not a
So
department.
even though it says
That's
departments,
its own.
I'm thinking 5 fits.
So something that Joanna is saying is resonating with me too.
Mm.
So if you look at degree 7, it talks about an entire municipal organization. Okay, that would be the town.
Mhm.
Degree 6 talks about entire divisions. So food,
Transportation.
transportation, et cetera, within the COA.
Right, the Eagle House, I see as its
Yeah.
own division from town hall.
I could be swayed.
I still
I
think
think
it's 5. I think that the entire departments of a 5 would cover the different subgroups under her domain.
Divisions, I think of what comes to mind is DPW for me, like, you have
See, I
sewer,
think she's
highway,
like that.
cemetery. As
In
far
a
as
smaller
divisions
scale.
within-
In a
On a
smaller
large,
scale.
on- yeah, it is a smaller
On
scale.
a smaller scale, but I think she's in that standalone building, figuring out the whole building unit, transportation, food. So I think she's not as big as DPW, but I find that satellite to be, in my mind, the same.
Well, remember, you pick up points in different categories. So this is just about accountability. So in accountability, it would, I don't know, I'm still thinking it's a 5.
Okay.
I don't see it as a 6.
The only other thing in 6 that pulls me a little bit on the 6 is adverse impact. And we said it, adverse impact on municipal functions. It can, I don't know, maybe we look if we're close, if we're on the line.
Yeah.
We revisit it
Yeah,
point wise, because we may not be at all, so.
yeah, it might be far away.
Yeah.
We'll do going 5 or 6.
5.
50.
What is 6? 60? So we're talking 10.
Degree 5.
That's what I'm leaning toward.
But see, I was at a 5 and then I was going up to a 4 because it said overall municipal operations. And we didn't use it in the
Right.
previous one because it said municipal,
Yeah.
not division.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
So
This
that's
is,
why
Yeah.
I went
yeah,
up to
I
a,
think it's a 4.
I was at a 5.
All right, so 4.
So that last
So the
meeting,
last line, yeah.
Eight.
No,
I just,
no, it's sure we have to,
Consistency.
exactly.
Complexity.
Yeah.
six.
I would say so.
What words are you making, what words make it a 6 for you? Because I'm at a 5.
The first sentence with the department, personnel of departments, work involves all of them. Position involves in application of specialized skills, knowledge to resolve diverse problems, situations often reoccurring, just with her whole group of people. Every day there's a different, from a bus accident to someone got burned to someone fell. What programs are we running? Who's doing bingo? Who's doing mahjong?
Well, it's that last line in 6 that gets me, or second to last line, position plays a key role in project and program formulation,
Right.
evaluation, and revision.
Yeah.
That was kind of what pulled me towards 6, because that spoke to me.
What
In
Council
terms of-
Aging is.
Yeah.
That would be the only sentence that changes it for me.
I still think it's a 5, but if the rest of you think it's a 6, I can go with a 6 and let's see where it lands.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
I can move to a 5.
Yeah, me
as you
too.
know.
Me too.
120.
This is another one of those, either a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
I was leaning for 6.
I
Me
was on
too.
6,
I'm at a high
but I was
5.
afraid to say it out loud.
No.
I just got stuck on 6.
Well, these are 20s, I think, aren't they?
We can contact the number that is.
It's 20s.
No,
Isn't that 20s?
10s.
I'm sorry.
What do we got?
Are these 10
6,
pointers?
This is 10s. Yeah.
right? This is 6 is what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Is it going by 10 or 20 points up each one?
This is personal conduct is 10.
10.
So what's 6? 60?
Oh, I didn't hear that you decided. Sorry.
I think we're still hedging.
We're hedging. Let's see where we end up.
I made a note of 6 and then we'll look at it.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's 3 of those.
Yeah.
Categories.
Yep.
And it's a unique category.
confidential.
Yeah.
That would be
4.
6. Hi, Lola. Why do you say 4? Lola?
Because 5 for me went into more again municipal versus departmental. Chief Administration Officer work, which is Heather. So that's why I went up to 4.
And that would be access for townwide, probably type of
Mhm.
confidential information
Yeah.
versus a department.
What's
Okay.
the difference between the two? What is the words that
Well-
are different?
I think that for me, the difference is that she's still
Oh,
contained
I
in a
see.
small,
Chief Administrative Officer.
Yeah,
small.
that's where I
group.
saw, I always, you never know.
Yeah, yeah. Simple.
Occupational risk hazards.
80. We're thinking the
Probably
daily, it's just
20,
20, 20, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And our last one, DPW Director Bill. Huh?
685.
685 is a new 10.
Consistent. No,
That's about in
you
line
gotta
where
add
she's at.
three to it.
Okay.
So, or 3 or 4 to it, which puts us at
Right.
14.
right.
The old 14.
What's the last one?
DPW
DPW is right
Director.
here.
Is he joining us?
Hey, he's not in here.
No.
Here it is.
Uh-oh.
I'm piling them all up.
Bachelor's degree, so that is a let me say 4,
4.
Mhm.
80, 10 years.
Oh,
with
hang on, I
progressive
gotta find it.
Oh.
Okay,
DPW director.
yeah, I got it.
10
So-
years would be
80.
5 or 6. Right?
10 years.
Minimum of 10, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it says 10 years progressively responsible experience. So I would say it's probably minimum. So that's a 6, which is 60.
So remember how you had to change the words in the last one? You might need to do that in this one as well.
Minimum.
Yeah, because it says, it's the same problem we had 2 or 3 back. I forget which one. it
Yeah.
was.
10.
So sorry, are we on, just heading into number 3 now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second one was 60.
Yes. So 80 and 60, right? So far. Vision received. General operational administrative direction to the town manager. Broad direction, consider independent judgment.
Another 5 or 6.
Takes direction from the town manager on non-routine matters as necessary.
I'm at a 5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at 5
Yeah.
and 6. Trying to figure it out.
When we did the HR director, we did it as and also a direct report. We did it as a 6. No, did we? This is
Council on Aging
3,
director is 5.
5.
5.
So I don't know, is there a difference
25.
in the complexity of the work?
The supervision,
Right.
Yeah. But supervision would be
The somewhere.
similar. Okay. So that's 5.
25 points.
6.
For exercised.
Yep.
Yeah.
six, yes. That is 120.
Hmm.
Six, seven.
I'd say 7 too.
Absolutely. Petition specifically.
7 because,
Well, because if the roads don't get.
I was just
plowed,
gonna say, yeah.
You know, then that affects the entire municipal organization.
6 has the ability to cover that as well. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I'm just kind of curious why. Because 6 also covers some of that.
But the.
It does, but the first line to me is what draws me to
The
7.
entire municipal
Yeah.
organization.
And degree 6 doesn't say anything about the municipal organization.
Yeah.
It talks about divisions. Oh, no, it does. Adverse impact on municipal functions.
Yeah.
But.
Heather, when
I
you
think
looked at
it's
this, how did
stronger than
you
that.
look at it?
I did a 6. I can see, the interpretation of that first line of 7, as far as just snow operations, is it would impact multiple divisions or multiple departments. across
Well,
town.
And I could-
sewer too, right? Because that falls under that. I mean,
Yeah.
water main breaks.
Yeah.
I think ultimately if, and this is the way I view it, like in the org chart, if there was an error such as the roads weren't plowed or sanded, salted,
Oh,
the complaint's gonna
ultimate-
go
who
to him
ultimately
and
is
then it's
accountable.
ultimately coming to her as the
And
town
the sewer
manager
backup.
for
So
overall
then-
accountability. So to me, that's the
Right.
7. I think this is the one layered down
Down.
as the 6, because ultimately you are directly responsible, but who's responsible for you?
Oh,
Who
okay,
holds you
so that's fine.
accountable?
Yes, okay.
I
That's
can
how
get
I
behind that.
translate that.
So
So 6.
6.
6.
You were at a 6, you go up to a 7.
Hmm.
60.
Judgment. To me, a 5. I mean,
I could go with a 4. Let me think. Yeah, could be 5. Yep.
the complexity with
Complexity of
projects,
the many
yeah,
different things, yeah.
new and
About-
constantly changing problems.
Considerable judgment versus extensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Non-judgment is 100.
Was this where we made a comparison last time?
Because of the,
Yeah.
I'm on 7 because of the
Mhm.
municipal
Me too.
versus the department division.
Yep.
But again,
Not at 7, but
Major and customary.
that's a more municipal.
I would say it's a 6. I think it's a 7 because of the municipality.
I don't see that word.
It's the reference within the first sentence. So requires planning, organization, blah, 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 evaluation, project programs, and personnel of more than one division or an entire organization.
I
But
think that
it
gets
doesn't.
covered under 6.
It doesn't involve
They're
more
all
than one division.
I guess
subgroups. in
their
the division.
subgroups, I think, are sort of larger, so to speak.
I think
Then
that's also
that in
departments
6.
divisions in 6 as well.
Yeah. Not the
I'm fine.
organization, right?
What was the part? Oh, the entire organization.
I'm good with 6.
Facilities directors under him that does all
No,
the facility.
Facilities falls under Heather.
Oh, it's not. Oh, when did that move?
We created a whole separate department that
Oh, okay, because he used to
happened
be,
at town
under-
meeting.
he used to be under the good old days.
Are we at
I think
6
we're
or?
at 6.
Yep.
Let's see. 6 is 120. Personal contact. This is frequent contact with general public and other town officials, state, regional government agencies, contractors, vendors. Person phone writing, discussing complex information, resolving service requests. That's not true anymore. Close cooperation, coordination, collaboration may require with town boards and town departments.
I'm still thinking it's a 6.
It's a 6 for me.
Because of, I think the problems they have to solve in that group aren't always routine.
Hmm.
So they take a little bit more creativity and who they interact with, maybe. What were you thinking, 5?
Yeah, I was at 5,
Maybe
which is what made me curious about 6. Like, what was it? Serving key advisory role in interdepartmental and overall organization planning. Yes or no?
Well, in the regulations, explanation of regulations is a little different than 6. We read 5 again.
The 5 has a sentence too, Donna. Sorry.
Oh, 5 does too.
The last sentence.
Yeah.
Serves
Yeah.
our key. What were you saying, Heather?
Just the moderately complex versus the significantly complex.
Mhm.
And I think it's significantly
I would agree with that.
Um,
not moderate.
How did you work this?
I was at the 5.
Oh, it's a 6.
So complex in what way? I mean, as far as solving road problems or
All of it.
Yeah.
Because every phone call, the priority changes based on the phone call he gets every day. My paving plan, I'm doing Sunset. Now he's not doing Sunset. So something changed that plan and he had to divert the funding for that road this year for something else. So he's constantly having to revise, change. We spend, hundreds of $1,000s for, here's our sewer plan. And then we change the sewer plan because of finance, not that he wants to, but things change. The demands, the needs of the people calling require different action.
But I think in this particular role, the standard application of how you fix those things are more moderately complex. I mean, there's only a couple of ways to fix that, so it doesn't become significantly complex. Seems to me like much more advanced, and I don't think this particular.
So there's a phrase in 6 that says significantly complex and or of a sensitive nature and occur on a frequent basis. Well, I'm not really sure it's sensitive, so that bumps me back to a 5.
Right. I think there are standard application tools for how you fix things that happen in the DPW.
Well, there is the cemetery department's under him, which is sensitive information. And there's issues that I want to bury and I can't plant
But
flowers.
remember, we're talking about personal contact. So some of those things you said, we pick up in other areas because of the complexity of the job, but this is about personal contact.
Right.
So I still see it as a 5. I think some of those things did get picked up, Joanne, in other areas of complexity, but not in personal contact and interactions. Somebody's going to be mad at him because he didn't do something. He's going to respond in an appropriate way, I hope.
certainly he will.
So 5?
Yes.
I
You
don't
okay
know.
with that?
Yeah,
Let's see if it changes
100,
anything. We'll put a
yeah.
star beside it.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was complex, personnel content.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
personnel.
sorry, that's 50 out of 5. Very sorry. Confidential. So this says, has access to department-related confidential information such as personal records and bid proposals, but that wouldn't be confidential at that time, that he has access, that this person has access to it. But would have access to the department's personnel records, as well as dealing with personnel matters. Speed so fast, feel like-
I can't see other than the normal things that a manager would have, that they would have confidential information outside of that realm.
The sanitary. Case in point, sanitary departments underneath them.
No, I
So-
understand that, but that's still, what about that is, would drop it into a more significant.
Oh, no,
Area.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. I would think it's a 3. Anybody else?
I can go through.
The only other thing I can think is confidential in that world is bidding. You know, a bidding process, that would be confidential, but I don't know if there's any way to.
Yes, but not at the level that he sees the bids. At that point, it's a public
Okay,
opening when he sees
okay,
the
fine,
bids.
good point, thank you. 3 then, for me.
The only sentence in 4 that is sort of different to me is position may include developing policies and procedures that have broad organizational impact. So
I don't think it
Do
has
that.
significant amount. I
Okay.
don't think,
then that's fine. I'm okay with the 3. That was the only thing I wanted to kind of look at.
I'm
with it.
saying no.
So where does that move him?
What do you think?
Because
Yeah,
the
we're
rest are
not-
all,
Yeah, very little and procedurally, things occasionally come up. Procedures, but
Okay.
Where is that? Confidential is a 60.
And then
The rest
This is not going to be 2020.
Yeah, I don't
These
think
are
so either.
different. No.
physical demands are gonna be higher.
higher, yeah.
Occupational hazards.
Does it stand for the test and fail?
It says
The big difference is position offers moderate exposure to risk or frequent exposure to risk. I mean, that's the
This-
standout difference right off the
at
top.
least under job environments is frequent exposure to variable outdoor weather conditions and hazards associated with outdoor projects.
Which one's that? Is that? Is
That's
that 4?
5.
5, yeah.
But I think on the day-to-day is not doing,
Right.
this person isn't doing site walks on during a rainy thunderstorm or windy snowstorm. I don't think they'd have to like not plowing.
So it is about the
Or clean up.
position itself, not who they're. serving.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
partly, right? The only part that
There is a
comes
part,
in is position has moderate opportunity for impact on the health and safety of others.
Mhm.
So you're.
Frequent opportunity versus moderate opportunity.
and I think it's frequent.
so ultimately with
But
the
on
garage
higher
attached, if
altitude.
there's, the exhaust fumes are extreme, then he'd be responsible for
Or
taking
not
care of
requiring
that,
them
or-
What needs 5?
To
Remember,
follow
this is about
proper
the person
safety.
themselves, not
procedures.
Yeah.
others.
Where it says position has
OSHA.
frequent opportunity for impact on the health and safety of others, and it does.
Well, it
Everyone
has-
that
I
works
think
for
it's
them.
about-
So do the others, yeah.
Well, the difference is the wording of frequent opportunity versus moderate opportunity.
for themselves.
No, for impact on the health and safety of others.
No, not for the person.
No, not for the first
Oh,
one,
you
for
didn't.
this one, frequent up, okay, and moderate opportunity. That's the differentiator between the two.
For me, looking at a 2 or 3, because it says it would be hopefully minimal exposure, right, on a day-to-day when performing duties if safety rules and procedures are followed.
Mhm.
So if you're following the guidelines that you should be, OSHA, wearing your PPE, you know, the gear, if you're going to be in the road, then there should be minimal hazards. That's-
So
yeah,
Julie's
okay.
even lower than we were reading.
It's the DPW director, right?
Yeah.
Are there any sub supervisors in that group, or is this person responsible for all the?
There's the
Place.
management levels, there's the highway superintendent, the cemetery superintendent. Anyone else?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm
Like, did I?
Yeah.
So
Because
that's
then
just to
it's,
me,
yeah,
they're-
there's no one, no outside of office staff for sewer, it's this office.
Okay,
They supervise vendors.
so it's not the person training the truck drivers, it's not the person training the road crew, it's
No.
that is even in that space, it's the supervisor may take that weight.
Correct.
But this one,
So they're leaning toward minimal exposure, as long as they're using the right safety equipment.
that could be a 3.
Which is, I think,
So when
what
we get to
Heather
the
has, right?
supervisor,
We have
that's
three.
nice, then they would take the higher weight. Because they're supervising the people who do the
Yes.
road work and supervising the
Yes.
people who do the shoveling and.
Correct.
You okay? guys, with that
Are you
one?
okay with that?
Yeah.
3? When you good?
No, but I'll go with them.
Okay.
Put a stop his head and see if it
Yeah.
I don't
changes.
want to be on TV saying I'm okay with it.
So 3,
I want my roll blow.
60.
Is it 60?
Well, let's see. I
Well,
mean,
remember, we're,
it's for-
this is not the be all end all, right?
Well, no, it's,
Right.
this is, we
So
gotta
work in
remember
progress.
that he's not in a union contract and he's as responsible and as worthy as the police chief and the fire chief. And the way our staff is, I don't think he's an equivalent to those 2 peers that are in his group. So I think as a part of the staff, that's where we've let the DPW director down, is that we're not comparing him.
We're not there yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Work environment.
So that's
And again, I have 5.
office
Huh?
work is performed under typical office conditions. We talked about the outdoor hazards with outdoor projects, attending night meetings, with direct field operations during non-business hours.
Five.
I was
Yeah.
at a 5.
yeah, definitely.
I think
He's primarily in the office.
Never out.
Does site visits
Yeah.
and things like that.
he doesn't file.
So,
No.
no. So 5 would be more of the laborer,
Yep, yep.
when they're outdoor all day.
So this is then it's drops to a 3.
Yeah. I was gonna
Shop
say-
area conditions. Not even. Yeah, wow.
I mean, I think,
I had it too.
Typical
Yeah,
Because it was
office or shop
office
area.
and shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a
Okay,
Mix.
Okay.
all right, 2.
so he's got, yeah, the higher level where here's what needs to be done, assigns that work to go. So more of like site visits.
Plans, and then to your point, when we finish, we can look at all the directors across and see
Yes.
Yeah.
where the anomalies sit and how they,
Right,
how we justify.
right.
Physical demands. Says. Patty wasn't on here, but it does say occasionally requires group objects weighing up to 60 pounds. Not sure. I would think on a daily basis. Maybe
So you'd
2 or
have to go
3.
to- Well, because it's, for 3, it says up to 50,
Yeah.
and 4 says,
75.
75, so. But this says frequent handling,
Yeah.
not
It is a frequent.
occasional.
And I can just see that being director, you can say, you go do it.
Yeah. Sure. Well, given the current description, I think we have to go higher, but didn't we make a note that we had to change it?
2 of them were
Yeah.
at 20. We know we don't. I don't look 25 pounds.
Yeah, so. Where do you have it at?
I had it at a 2.
Yeah, I was leaning to it too.
That might be an area that would be changed. I'm gonna make note of it, and then if it's, no, I do lift 60 pounds on the daily basis, then we'll leave it.
It does say 15 pounds and then infrequent, occasional, up to 35.
Yeah. So,
I think that seems more realistic, because if it's bigger than that, you want someone else to help you with it anyway, probably, whatever it is.
40.
815.
815 is a 12.
Which is the new 16.
Yep.
I mean, the old.
This is
16.
the new 12
That's
at, yes,
right
15 or
on
16. Yeah.
target. That is right on target.
Well, depending on how we look at it.
Yeah.
Because it was an old 16.
Yeah.
So.
What's the point?
No,
of
I'm
the
saying
spread
it's a
on that?
12, but this was an old. 16.
Right.
I said 12 was 795 to 870.
So it's quite a spread,
Yeah.
okay.
What'd you say?
We
this
had
was?
2 or
Eight what?
3, we had 2 or 3 that we had a question.
You thought it
on,
was
but that
six,
wouldn't
yeah.
change.
Mhm.
She asked you,
I'm
did you
sorry.
get the number?
What was the total again?
The total was 815. It was a 12.
Okay.
So it was smack
yeah.
dab in the middle.
Well, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Toward the
The
lower
ish.
end. Ish. Creeping towards the middle.
Creeping up.
All right.
Vacation leave accrual.
Yeah. You don't want to hang out? No. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
As always.
Yeah, we brain exercise. We don't lift. All right, the vacation accrual, this was something that you had asked to put on. The,
Thank you.
Yes.
So what is
take
it?
the wheel.
You drive the bus.
So here was the way it's in the charter, correct?
In the bottom, yeah.
In the bylaws. So if an employee has a change in hours, say they go up from, 25 hours to 30 hours or something like that, then they potentially, especially if they were on the cusp of even going to that next, after 5 years, getting that next level, losing time. Because if their week was, their accrual was based on their hours, then when the hours go up, they don't catch up for a year, correct? So that year, they're all of a sudden now working more hours, but less vacation time. And
Vacation is accrued the year prior.
prior.
And then
So
dumped in
now-
on that July 1.
So whatever day they start the new hours, they'll start to accrue, but it won't be
Given until-
until the next year.
Right, which means for a year they lose vacation time, which to me,
Well, they don't really lose it because everyone else's accrual goes the same way.
So I'll use myself
I
as an
don't
example.
see how that works.
So I went from 28 to 32 hours. So I have 56 hours of vacation
Already, which
use.
you earned last year.
based off my 28 hours of last year, correct? So when I used a week this year, I used 32. So now I have less than 1 week left. So out
From
of 2,
last year still though. Right.
yes, last week's accrual dumped in. So the increase in hours, instead of having 64 hours, I have what I accrued the prior year, which is 56 hours.
But she's saying everyone does the same. You always accrue
You're
your
always accruing
hours
for
based
next
on the
year.
last.
On the
year.
prior year, correct.
Yeah, so
So I'm not sure. I
Most people don't
understand.
have hourly changes, like a lot of the positions are pretty consistent year to year.
But it's still an accrual. I'm accruing today and I can't take it till next year.
Mhm.
So you're accruing a higher number now,
Mhm.
which you will be able to take next year, just like everyone else.
Mhm.
But it's a loss of days, so it's
I don't
not,
think it is a loss of days. I don't see how it's a loss of days.
well, it
If you're
is though.
accruing for next year.
In that initial year when you make the change, like I was
So
saying.
her hours, she's counting more, she's taking more hours
Yeah,
out,
I
which
understand
means for this year, you'll lose vacation, which to me is,
But her accrual this year that she can use is what she earned last year.
Mhm.
So her accrual, she's accruing at the right number, but she just can't
Yes.
use it till next year.
I
Is
don't
that
think
correct?
it's the accrual that's the issue.
Okay.
I think it's the
Use.
way that vacation is distributed. If it was, trying to think if this was
On a
given on a
daily basis
monthly or a
versus an hour-
bi-weekly.
so as an hourly employee, that's, how- it's taken in hours, instead of saying someone gets 10 vacation days, it's done by hours. And that's the part to me that just seems, I don't know.
I'm
That was-
don't get it either. I'm sorry. I'm a little.
I'm still.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that's
quite
so
get it.
of my situation.
Okay.
I went from 27 to 36. I am working 9 extra hours every week.
Mhm.
I just last year moved to 3 weeks vacation. Never have still yet gotten a full year of 3 weeks vacation. I now have 2 weeks and a couple hours.
Because
Even though I'm supposed to be getting 3 weeks of vacation. This year I only get 2 weeks because I
It was
only get
based on-
81 hours. Based on 27 hours.
They only gave her the accrual last year was 27 hours.
Which is 81.
Yep.
But now I'm working, I think it's 107, would be 3 weeks.
But you're accruing that at the correct amount
Correct, but I have
today.
to take it this year.
She
So
has
that's
to
what it
take
is. So
her
every day
vacation
she
time.
takes now.
She only
The
has
benefit
accrual.
states
She
you
only
should get
has-
3 weeks. But what I'm saying is like, I don't get 3 weeks.
So-
Even though.
Because in her bank, she accrued this time that she was gonna take 27 hours, but now she works 35 hours. So she's losing the 25 to 35 because it was never accrued,
It's
but
also
now she has
because-
to take it.
Sorry.
Or thank you, or she's going to lose it.
Yeah, but use it or lose it is pretty common. I get
Well,
that.
not the use it or lose it, but if you want to take a week's vacation in her hours now, her weeks are now 36 hours.
So, all right, I'm almost there. So.
She's short
the-
9 hours.
when you take a week's vacation, it's based off of your hours now, because you have to account for
to use-
36 hours now.
Mhm.
So you're required to take 36 hours of vacation time this year, but you accrued it last year.
Yeah.
I
I'm not allowed
understand
to
all
only
of
take
that.
27.
I don't see you losing anything.
But it is though. So last year her week was 27 hours, not 36. So
Correct.
this year, she
I see
For
the
every week.
dilemma. The dilemma is that she's gonna take the higher number of hours this year, but because her accrual last year isn't gonna cover it.
Right.
I get that.
right. So you can't. So she's supposed to jump to 3 weeks, but she literally just gets 2.
For this year only.
Well, your vacation is in hours, it's not in weeks. I think that's the difference, right? It's in hours. So
yeah.
in a
that's in here.
week, if you look at a week, today your week is 36 hours. Last year it was 27. So to take a week's vacation requires more
Correct.
hours of accrued vacation time this year
That she didn't get.
that she didn't get because last year
Yeah.
she wasn't working 36 hours and
That is-
accruing vacation time on 36 hours. So it is fair. You might not like it, and I wouldn't be able to take a week because your job wouldn't be completed unless you took from, to add to. So that's the way I look at
Has
it.
this ever come up before? How we
I don't know.
accrue?
Do we like accrue? Is there a reason we're on accrue instead of you get
That's
15 vacation days? For
Well-
1 to 5 years, you get 5 to 10, you get 20 vacation days, etc.
It's
How
the
you account for
accrual.
it.
it only really becomes an issue when,
For that one
If
year
it
that
were
you
done
changed.
to- The accrual were, say, monthly.
which is,
Okay,
that's how we
weekly,
work.
yeah.
in my
It
work.
would change that.
It would
Yes.
change that.
It's the holding back
It's
that one
waiting
year.
out the year.
It's the in arrears, so to
Oh,
speak.
if you could get it
Every
monthly
month,
instead
they
of
work a
waiting
month,
a
like,
year.
right, yeah.
Most companies do it monthly.
Which
Yes.
is Concord does, my husband in Concord, they do it.
So that's
We
a
are-
different
They
issue
accrue
than.
Yeah,
It
that
isn't
is a
wrong.
different-
Yeah, it's not the approval
We're accruing
itself.
on a yearly.
It's the
basis
in
rather than
arrears
monthly.
that's an issue.
And my
for
guess is
somebody.
we accrue it on a annual basis to force the budget more accurately. I'm guessing that's how it starts.
It's just always been that way that I know.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's a record keeping kind of.
So is the recommendation from our people that they would like us to look at going to town meeting in fall and changing the accrual? Dynamic to a month
It does
instead.
change the whole financial characterization of how you account for that, because you'll then have to account for the accrual dollars on a more ongoing active basis rather than once a
right,
year at
then
the end.
Then the following.
Right, because today, everything gets dropped
Right.
at one time, and what we're suggesting, if this is a suggestion, is that every month it gets put in the budget and it gets put in the budget and gets put, because it's a liability to the
Mhm,
town.
yeah.
Until it gets used.
And there's
It's
no
sitting
way
in a
to plan
liability
for
column.
that. You can't plan for it.
I don't know if they're, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
if there's a
too.
financial impact, because it's still the same
It would only
salary.
be
It's
on
not
the
like
books.
There's, in most cases, a
Oh.
coverage for that person. So if they're out, if they get 3 weeks that year, it's just
The
a
only other-
loss of non-coverage in that.
For in the
So-
position
But
itself.
you'd be accruing current, not
Current.
in arrears.
Correct. And the only other thing I can think of that impacts that is if a person left the organization earlier, then you have to pay it out.
You
Uh,
do pay it out anyways.
yeah.
Someone,
Any earned
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Even if they don't
You-
accrue it till the next year.
they receive what they've accrued to that date.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
say
Because
that
it's
You
they're-
already
earned
paid
time.
that, so that doesn't, that's good.
So I think the only thing dropping it in monthly is some people are used to seeing this, 120 hours or whatever it be on July 1. If we started doing it monthly, it's like, well, here's 8 hours.
People will take,
Here's
take
8
it
hours.
earlier.
Here's 8 hours. You have to build up your time rather
So-
than having it all
What
at
did they do in
once.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, we get,
Does that make sense?
July 1st, we get
So it's dumped all at once.
We
So
get
it's-
15 sick days, and then based on your time, you get 2 weeks, 3
Or we
weeks.
just get rid of it.
You know, every
your
5
time
years.
backwards, How long you've been there in the past.
Correct,
But it's not based on any accrual from last year. It's just, here you go.
correct.
Well, in that,
Concord's the
in
same
that
way.
transition year, you're gonna get, more time, but then that follow-up year, you're gonna get less.
It'll balance out.
So July 1,
Mhm.
say you get 80 hours. If you start banking 8 hours a month that year, because you're getting that year's time, the following July 1st, you already got
It'll
that
just-
year's time.
It just.
So that switches
spreads it
that, yeah.
Narrower.
Yeah, so if we were to do this, say, July 1, we're gonna get all this accrued time plopped in, let's just say your 40-hour 2-weeker, that's what, 160 hours?
Mhm.
That'll be on July 1, and then if we switch to the monthly, now you get 160 plus 8, 100, whatever that monthly is. And keep going, so yeah.
What's the rollover here?
It's,
You don't roll over.
there's no carryover unless there's extenuating
Yeah, so you
circumstances.
probably need
In
permission.
Pittsburgh, they buy a week back, which I've never worked anywhere where they buy a vacation week back.
There's, depending on the contract,
Yeah, they,
there's extend carryover, certain limited amount of time, or payout.
okay, we can get 2 weeks payout at 1 year. From 1 to 5 year, we get 1 week payout, and we can carry over 1 week. After 5 years, you could buy 2 weeks back and carry over 2 weeks.
Sometimes the buyout is the liability part versus seeing a buildup of.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, same thing, but it's nice at Christmas when you get.
And
Yeah,
thankfully in Concord, it's dumped all at once.
So
July
then,
1.
just to back to you for a
Current
second.
or
The,
arrears?
so your salary, but your job is based off of
And
N
every
hours.
month you
a
don't
week.
Advance?
call
I'm
it
not
sick.
Or your
saying-
hour,
And
your
every-
hour,
every month
okay.
we don't call it
Okay,
sick, we
so
get a half
then-
Personal day.
Every month?
And the
Every
hard
month
part
we
for
get a
me is,
half
it takes
personal
away
day.
the
Every
effort.
quarter.
I'm
And
filling
then
in
every
for
6
this
months,
position.
every 6 months we
Why
get
do
a
it
day.
if I'm
So we
going
get
to
8 personal days a year, if you don't
But
call it sick. for the
I
year.
I know it's not really backtracking.
I don't
and
view
yet
it
I
as
still-
backtracking, I guess.
So in order to make a change like this, it would impact the financial budgeting process because it becomes a liability
That
in a
first
sooner
year.
frequency. So it needs some planning, certainly. I think that we probably need to ask a few more questions about the financial ramifications and at what point it could be even attempted
I would think July 1st, right?
next
That-
year.
Well,
Right.
the other part of that is there a way to allow up to X hours in the negative, knowing that they would be, I know,
I wouldn't
Oh, that's
suggest that.
slippery because that if you leave a job,
Oh, I
Oh,
know,
It's a
I know.
slippery slope.
And the way our pay is, we already pay a week in advance, so that's really, that'd be real
Wow.
tough to recover.
I'm sorry, you started to say, Wendy, and I missed the conversation. What do they do in your town
The SAP in Concord is dumped all at once on July 1.
based on what their previous year's service?
Upcoming, right?
Upcoming. So it's,
Mm.
so if somebody's in a new position,
So let's say you hire somebody in April, what do they get in July?
they get a full year. And
So if it's 1 week or 2 weeks.
so here's the other part. There's not, everybody, 4 weeks. Everybody's they're an anomaly, so you can't, the amount of time that you get there, you can't. It's because everybody gets a lot of time right off the bat.
Uh,
The next big jumps are significant time.
Ah.
So like, it's a significant, it's not like at 5 years, nobody gets 2 weeks.
So what happens if you're hired in April, July 1, you get 4 weeks vacation and you leave July 30th?
September.
What happens?
There's a limit on your payout based on, because you can only take, so you can't, vacation is use it or lose it.
Yep. I've worked
So
in
they'll,
companies like
so if we're
that.
talking about vacation, that's a whole nother.
So if you got the
But,
4
but
weeks,
you've been given 4 weeks vacation, which you have not earned yet.
what would you
Therefore,
do?
you owe
Mhm.
your municipality
Almost the whole
some
4
money.
weeks?
Well, there's a lot of calculations. that
Yeah.
Okay.
Go into
That's
that.
why I'm asking, what happens if you leave at the end of July? You've accrued 4 weeks of vacation. Does the town pay you out for the 4 weeks or is it prorated somehow?
I don't ever have people do that, but, and also we have a lot of union folks too, and they're more of who leaves. So that's guided within their contract.
Okay.
They've got a max.
So
Yeah,
that might,
okay.
town might be an anomaly
Yeah.
to.
They're an anomaly about a lot of things, so.
So I guess for me, our takeaway is there a request or action that we're being asked to?
So I wanted to have a discussion about it because in hearing that there were 2 employees who had concern about that, I would too. Like to
So I
say,
guess-
yes, I've served the town for 5 years. This is to be either that or it's gotta be, you don't get it till 6 years, because so that people have that framework in their head, because you actually don't.
You
If
don't
you have
get
any
what?
change in hours, you don't get that additional week
Until-
of time
until
off.
later. So I would suggest that we need to do a little more research, and if there's no good reason not to accrue more regularly, which would get around that problem, you'd just start to accrue with the higher number
Mhm.
and put it in your bank. But I do think there's some financial and some record keeping things that I'm not as clear about for how the town works or why it might or may, does it make a difference in the budget or not. My sense is it's money they owe no matter what, and as long as the person's earned it because they've been here, that there should be an easy fix to change it from the annual dump to a more accrual based. So last month I was here and I got 2.2 hours, or next month I'm here and I get whatever I get,
Or my job changed and now
and now
I,
I get a higher amount.
Yeah,
Or
then I would get a
days.
higher
To me, in my head, I'm sitting here saying, why is it not days? So if someone's day is 4 hours, that's
Well,
their,
it's just a
day.
record keeping issue, because a day is a day is a day, so you really have to go by hours, because everybody's day is so different. So my
And
day
plus
is six.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, they
Uh-huh.
work.
Hours are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Department.
Yeah.
Hours really does make sense, but a more fast track accrual might fix this dilemma.
But do you want us to look at that?
I think we should.
I think we should, because so we're struggling to attract and retain employees. That's not a mystery. When I look at something like this is something fixable that really isn't going to create a budget issue, but it's huge for employee morale.
Mhm.
Like, who wants to think I've been here 5 years? Great, I get 3 weeks. Oh no, wait, I don't.
Oh, 60.
Right,
It's the-
but that's,
it's the
but
way
again,
that-
it's semantics.
It's the way that
So,
it's accrued, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying, I
Right.
think we should look at it.
Yeah.
And try to figure out a different way to satisfy this use case and the
Julie's as well.
overall use case,
And
yes.
how are the union contracts done?
Uh,
Do they accrue in the rear? Do they get days? Do they?
I think they're all over here. I think we all accrue.
there may be one that.
Was the,
stopped at first. They look.
yeah.
Because if we do the SAP, is that something universally that would have to go into the other groups like,
I know clerical's accrual, same method.
I'm sorry?
I know
clerical.
clerical is accrual, same method.
Same as the SAP.
Okay.
I'm wondering, would this affect when we hire, if it's between July and December and January through June, will that help that situation if we adjusted the
You mean the
accrual?
January to June?
Yeah.
We don't get it for a year
I
and
know
a
that's
half.
like a year and a half.
Yeah,
Hmm,
That would fix
yeah,
that.
That's
that would
crazy.
fix that
That would
too.
fix.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's just crazy
Yeah,
that you
that
work
would
somewhere
fix
for a
that
year and a
too.
half and don't get.
yeah,
It's one time.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's tough.
Or they have access
That's
to
what I
like
keep
one or
trying
two,
to-
a personal day or something like that. What's the
Pittsburgh,
access?
6 months, you get 2 weeks, 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
I would be glad to try to do a little bit of research with your help and your help. And be able to say, this is what everybody gets and this is what an alternative might be.
Mhm.
It just means kind of researching what is each of the groups, what happens to them. And it helps to know what your town does and what the difference, to see whether the financial obligation of the town can be switched in, how. So I'd be glad to do that before the next meeting.
Thank you, Sue.
Aren't you glad you stayed on, Sue?
No. But it is important.
Well, thank you, Sue. All right, do we have any public comment from the public? All right,
No hands?
seeing none, do we have any committee comment? I just want clarification when our next meeting is. Do we have a date? Okay, perfect. I didn't know, because I wasn't here, if I missed something. Do we want to put a date on the calendar?
Yes,
Yes.
we have
Okay.
to.
My question is, do we want to talk about
Outliers?
whether we have had an oversight on the sewer?
I think there were a couple probably positions at the June 13th meeting that we should go back and
Yeah. Just
fill
make
in
sure that
the,
we've got,
yeah, because I think the total might have been tallied.
it's, the total was tallied,
Yeah.
because there is a.
I think we
there
just
is
didn't have
a-
the breakdown, so we had a different minute taker
There's a-
that week
There
and,
was a personnel committee grade given.
yeah,
for
I
that
think we just
position.
didn't show the breakdown of the
That's what I
position,
didn't
so.
do when we were doing it.
We didn't have the breakdown. We had a different minute taker that
Okay,
meeting,
okay.
so. Yep, we can do that. I think there were maybe 5 positions at that
Outliers?
meeting.
Oh,
No,
oh,
just
it would
that
be
we
on the
rated,
agenda.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we should
Yeah,
be
we
able
can
to look and
yeah.
see if they're all missing and
Okay.
we can do that after Heather's got about like 2 more meetings to go,
Well, yeah,
staff wise.
because they recorded, right? So we'd be able to go back and just.
No, that one wasn't. That was just an in-person and Bill attended through Teams, but he was the only one because he
Okay.
lived, we made an accommodation for him to
Yeah.
rate some of his positions. Yeah.
So when do we want to have our next meeting? What's the?
Well, what is the goal here? Are we aiming for May, right?
How many more do we have?
Sorry, Sue. Or if you're so the
were-
warrant articles are due September 18th.
And how many more do we have?
Probably 2 times that, so 10, and then there's a couple of strays that we didn't get to do. I think we still need to do the reserve officer. There was the admin position for fire, the public safety coordinator. And then I was thinking the ones that we may have missed from that June 13th would all be in the very last meeting, so
So I'm sorry, 3 more of these?
I would say probably about 15 more positions. Maybe 10 for you. You might have like 10. I think I kind of broke them.
Way more than that.
9 or 10, I think. I think I tried to break them 5, 5, and 4.
But maybe there's more in this spreadsheet than we have, because I'm counting way more, I'm in the 30s.
I'm sorry.
So if I look at the spreadsheet that
Mhm.
we've been using, and I look at,
There's about 47 positions, right?
well, if I look at any row that has nothing in it,
Yeah.
no total. I've started to count and I'm way up
How
above
many have we
30.
actually reviewed so far? If there.
That's
when
what
you
she's
say
saying, about
47.
30, right?
Oh,
And I'm saying we have about 15 left to review.
But I
She's
counted
counting her
over
empty
30
lines.
empty lines.
On her
Oh, 30
spreadsheet.
empty
Over
lines.
30, yes.
How many have?
Did
we
it not
done?
save?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ton.
So are you keeping track of the breakdown? Not just total, but each section,
Section 80.
each 12 categories that we have?
I have 36 that we've done.
And this 47, Chuck?
And those
there's-
rows are all filled in or no?
Yes,
37
Oh, okay.
rows filled in.
37
Okay.
rows filled in.
That makes
30
more sense.
something.
But there's
empty.
a total of 77 rows in this spreadsheet.
Probably not all, that probably includes ones that aren't active.
Okay.
Okay.
All
And we're
right,
not
good,
looking
good.
at the non-actives
So
right
there's
now.
about
We
10
could look at those
Okay.
when,
12 more.
All right.
Okay. So do we want to meet bi-weekly, or do we not think we're gonna make September 19th?
No, but make September 19th.
I was gonna say,
18.
how can we do
18.
this? How can we do this? Like, we can't do this again.
Right, so we've gotta,
Yeah.
we've gotta
We
start.
got-
meeting
but
bi-
even if
So
we
here-
finish this, we're still only at the beginning.
You're right. we're only
We're
at the
so
beginning.
far away from even having developed a plan.
That's true.
You can't just go
She's
through this
right.
and be like, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna take this information and you're gonna look at the grid,
Yeah,
and
we're not
that's
gonna
gonna
make-
need
Not for
comp
September.
studies and
Well, we
everything
could fall
that
back.
But we're
was
making
done,
good
we're
headway.
redoing.
We're making good headway, but. I don't
Doesn't
think-
feel like it. I'll be
I know,
brutally
but don't
honest.
feel
It
discouraged,
doesn't
because
feel-
listen, we already
Oh,
have
we've
our,
done a lot.
we already have our
Yeah.
FY 24, we're almost, the rates are done,
know.
right?
Yeah,
So
this
there's
is
no
right.
retro, no nothing. What was there?
Correct.
Did you say?
Oh,
was gonna
no,
be an
we talked
adjustment,
about
yeah.
retro back
We
to
did talk
July
about
1.
that.
July, we're doing retro back to July.
So it's gonna be a whole year of retro then.
No, we adjusted it.
We
It was
did
a-
the 2.5.
Everyone got a raise.
Yeah, we did, everybody got there, 2.5.
You're saying at the town meeting, it could be retro at the May town meeting back to July 1st.
That
Everyone-
wasn't
Yes.
the intention. The intention was fall, from what I recall. If there was a grid adjustment.
Yep.
If there was.
If there were,
Yeah.
like,
if-
right, if there's a grid adjustment,
If a
then the
position's
adjustment,
not
Is
the
right.
rated
adjustment would be
properly.
retro back to July 1.
Or was it just the outliers that we say they,
No,
this should,
it was
it was the
any-
whole.
Any
No, it was the whole-
grid-
It was the whole thing.
And we would,
And when we talked about.
So we're
this,
gonna
we
meet
figured
daily?
that
Should I
Sue
just spit out a
signed up
bunch
for
of
really
agendas
another
now?
year. We did, right? When we talked about this, she was like, I don't wanna do this again.
I
And we
know.
were like, well, just stay
Just stay
until we
longer.
finish. She said, I'll stay till we finish. But I was like, but you'll stay until we're done, which is next, spring.
Right.
And then immediately resign.
Well, Joanna said she gets a lot of time off through her job, so we're gonna start meeting daily during the day at my place.
yeah, I'll
Good
I'll do
luck.
whatever you need. I'll do whatever you need.
No,
I
so
think we are making
seriously,
Good progress. I think that it has turned into a much larger issue than we ever anticipated, especially changing the number of levels.
We're gonna have 3 more meetings before this
It's done.
exercise is wrapped up.
Okay, so do we, back to my original, do we want to meet bi-weekly to get that wrapped up? Or do we want to stay on the once a month?
I don't think once a month is a good idea.
Okay.
That's bad. We're gonna
So-
end up we're gonna
okay,
end up
so-
in the same place.
So we're gonna go to bi-weekly
It needs to be more
and
aggressive.
until these
At
are done
least,
and then reassess.
So bi-weekly is gonna be about a month and a half.
Mhm.
If, and we gotta consider her busy schedule with,
Well,
Capital-
Just looking at September sixth, I could do, that's the 2 weeks.
That's a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I could do that.
I could do that.
Could do tomorrow.
I know I have something September.
Even if 3 of us, we said we've got to push as long as we've got a solid 3.
Yeah, I have license commission because Monday's the holiday, so they're meeting Wednesday.
What are you thinking?
Here's the thing.
I'll see what.
I
they
wouldn't
we're
be here
not
the 6th, but
voting-
you guys can survive without me.
So wait a
If
second. though.
somebody can.
We
run
don't,
this. I think.
if we're not voting on anything, even if we had 3 and then only ended up being 2, we can still do it because
Correct.
we're not voting on anything.
Be better to have more, but.
Oh,
because
fair enough.
the
But I'm
dialogue-
just saying,
Yeah, that's true.
before we were like, oh, we're down a quorum, let's like,
Yeah, you're right.
we can still meet.
Yep.
It's just no votes, right?
We're not voting on this.
I don't
As
see
long
that.
as
No,
we're
no,
just
I'm
reviewing
not mistaken on that, right?
You're agreeing on the
Ratings.
rating.
Ratings.
Yeah.
So that is
So that's-
essentially
that's-
Well, it's an action.
Yeah.
Well, but we're gonna put them all forward together at once to vote, because it's not,
But a
This is
quorum wasn't
just-
here to make the action.
Hmm.
I would say no. As a
No.
city clerk, I would say
Okay.
no. That constitute you doing
Yep.
action as a
action,
board.
okay.
So the 6th.
But we
do
already
not have a
agreed that
quorum?
I
that
cannot
was
do the
not the
6th.
You
case.
cannot do it.
But I can have everything prepared if, I don't know, I can't do this, Alex has his appointment at
I can't
5:45.
Oh, the next-
Yeah.
I can.
So the three
So
of you.
three
I
of
mean,
you
I
just
don't
do
wanna
the
withhold.
Yeah, oh, I can be here.
Yes.
And we can manage it ourselves.
Yep.
If you can't, the 6th, and you could do the 6th.
Yes, and I can run my Zoom.
Okay.
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 So the 6th.
The sixth.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock,
Yes.
Are you still on?
because
campus?
my license commission,
Not-
based on the
not
agenda,
as-
I can be done at 6:30.
No, there'll be no.
And I pass here to get,
So you'll be
Totally.
like Wendy, 6:45.
She's not at camp then.
But,
Okay.
That's
but
what
I
I'm
still
checking.
wanna meet at 6.
6, yeah,
Okay.
Cause I may be at camp, but there's no campers there. There's
Okay.
no
right.
expectation that I
we're
stay
okay
till
with
5.
6.
6
We
p.m.
Well,
want
plus
you
it
here.
allows me to maybe get something to eat.
Eat, yes.
Why is that important?
I made a sandwich today. I said to John, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, you don't have to drop me. I'm like, what the heck?
Nope, I made my sandwich too, and I ate it in the car between the gym and here.
Okay.
Well, I didn't do that.
You gotta make a sandwich, I'll make you a sandwich next time.
You know what I
Joanna.
can do when I get back? Let me see how this, but when I get back from the appointment, I can zoom in on the 6th.
Okay.
All right, so
All right.
that's our next, any
6,
other
6
board
o'clock.
comment?
Do we want to do one more after that?
Yeah.
2 weeks out would be
20th.
The week of the 20th?
Is
September.
that all? You mean for
For
me?
you.
Cause I have that many ones.
I think you have
Or we just went through.
half of them. I think you had a, yeah.
I can't go through.
If you only had 5.
If you wanna
could
crunch them
try to
all in.
Crunch through 5. We could do 5.
I think it's more than
We could do
5.
5.
We can do 5.
We just
We
did
just
5.
did 5.
Yeah.
We could do 6.
I know. I'm
I
like,
think there's like
At the 6th.
We could do 6.
14 left for her.
There's, no, we're not gonna make it this.
Well, let's
14.
think about this. You have
Oh, it's
facilities, you have executive assistant, we have IT network admin,
It's only 7 o'clock. You can still
Um,
go.
That got me last.
pack
meeting.
manager.
I'm like, oh my God, it went so fast. You corrected me.
That's true. I did.
Tell me out, who are your people?
Then we go back
Maybe they're,
to the-
She's
I know, I
got
was trying to find,
Donna's got the list right here if you want
Well, I
to.
do, but the list is way bigger.
yeah,
She
no,
doesn't know
I
which
don't
ones
think.
are-
I don't know which ones are.
And I could look easily on my computer if we.
So
adjourn, I
here's
just
the
don't
thing,
like
why don't
this.
we set the 20th, and if it doesn't work for Heather, we'll do other ones that night. And then we'll make sure that the following one works for Heather.
And that's a Wednesday. I can do the 20th.
So we understand that there's not going to be anything for the fall
Yes.
town meeting.
I think when we really sat down and talked about this, we realized that we wouldn't have anything for the fall, which is why we made the decision to do the cost of living increase
Correct.
July.
Especially given that we had to change the number of, if it was just the old SAP locking in, it would have been easy to sell, but
Right.
it isn't easy when you go from 20 to 16.
Yeah.
That's another selling model.
Yeah, and there's work involved to be able to make sure that we position all this correctly.
Okay, September 20 is a target as well, 6 PM.
Yes, 6 p.m.
Okay, anything else?
8 more.
8 more?
Wait, we could do that in one. We'll try.
How about we don't do
Oh,
Oh,
anything
there's only
else?
8 more?
For hers.
Oh,
For hers. I think we could do 8.
If there's
We could
nothing
do-
else on the agenda, yes.
yeah, we could do 8 on the,
We can try that.
On
Oh,
the
Let's give
sixth?
it a shot. Yeah.
why do we
Some of
say
them
for
are
the 6th,
similar.
we'll do her 8 and be done with them and don't put anything else on the agenda? Because we just did 5, we were done at 7:30, and we spent 15 minutes at the beginning on,
I'll
Yeah.
do the agenda tomorrow and get that
Yeah.
posted, so then I'm not adding anything to
Yeah.
last minute.
on,
All right.
thank you, videographer.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that would be important would be something like that, a higher rate, you know.
They're gonna have to wait till the 20th.
The departments will be thrilled with that.
Heather's time is
We all
very
wait.
important. And we-
I tried to
Right.
do this, you know, the videographer earlier.
Good videographer.
So,
All
all
right.
right, I would love a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at
At
I-
7:59. I didn't know if
So-
that was accurate. At 7:59.
somebody just left the meeting.
Nancy.
Nancy, she's done with us.
Oh, and
That's the meeting, she's out of here.
So we adjourn?
Yeah,
I didn't hear no.
It changed.
Yeah.
yeah, it's 8 o'clock. We gotta fix that
Official.
clock.
No, we don't, because we're rolling.